It's Cheltenham Festival time again, 2021. So much written about Cheltenham 2020 and the year in between, we're most likely to forget. Joining me is Andrew Cunneen of Paddy Power, and other websites are available. Andrew, very welcome. And Colm Kinsella, Limerick leader, as always. Colm, another year, another Cheltenham podcast special, this time over Zoom. We just keep rolling out these things. We're getting better every year. I'll start with Andrew. This time last year, it all came crashing down around us, but we had a Cheltenham Festival and we're going to have one this year. Your thoughts?
This time last year, I was probably in some Brexit pub in the middle of Gloucestershire, really enjoying myself. Didn't realise it'd be the last time I'd ever enjoy myself, but that's such as it is. I am happy that it's going ahead, obviously, because I mean, like, come here, we all want to watch it regardless of the conditions and the context. It's important that I think sport, we've seen over the last year how big I think sport is. It's a distraction. It's something we all love and we engage with. And without it, I think the days would be going off an awful lot longer. It's very sad this year. Obviously, you'll see with field sizes and stuff being a lot smaller. It's because, well, owners can't go there. The Brexit negotiations and everything that happened with that. Paperwork is tougher. It's more expensive to send horses now to England. And there's a big thing for Cheltenham in the national home calendar is that owners get to go there and enjoy the experience, because having a winner at Cheltenham is a once in a lifetime thing for a lot of people. And with that option kind of off the table now, maybe they're rerouting horses and stuff like that. So, and the pandemic obviously isn't how it matters either. So there's an awful lot of red tape now, whereas last year it was lessened. So we're happy to have it, but it's certainly very, very different.
Colm was a seasoned visitor to Cheltenham over the years through work. It's obviously not going to be the same. A lot of talk this week about how the Irish stable staff are going to be staying on site. You know, a lot of work going into keeping Cheltenham COVID free. For racing fans like yourself who have an interest in it anyway, is it going to be in any way diminished? There's still going to be horses running. You know, the pageantry of not being there is, you know, no one's there this year. Does that make it maybe easier for us to watch?
I think, you know, the atmosphere is such a huge element of it, the whole Anglo-Irish battle. And, you know, when the tapes go up at 1:20 tomorrow, earlier than normal start, and there's no roar, that famous roar on the Tuesday, we won't have it. Even when, you know, Irish winners are coming back down along the chute in front of the main stands to go back into the winners' enclosure, no massive ovation, no well, there might be tricolours, but, you know, no sort of, you know, people showing all kinds of badges to security guys to make sure they get into the parade ring to welcome back in a winner. That's going to be missed on. It's not going to be the same. You know, obviously, I suppose for the purist racing fan who followed jumps racing throughout the winter in Britain and Ireland, this week is the culmination of, you know, the best of Irish against the best of English, a few French thrown in as well, and, you know, let battle commence. But I think, you know, I think the fact the atmosphere is going to be muted will take something from it.
Yeah, I suppose, well, look, the positive look on it is that we actually have a festival, and horse racing could do with a good couple of positive headlines at the moment. Let's get into it, because I know we'll be stuck for time and you're busy, man. Tuesday, now I as always, lead the conversation based on the fact that I don't know anything about a horse and whether it has 4 legs or 6. But on Tuesday, we listed Supreme Novice Hurdle, the Arkle Champion Hurdle, Mayor's Hurdle, and at the end of all our conversation, we want a nap of the day for people that are tuning in. So, Andrew, back to you. Supreme Novice Hurdle, the Arkle Champion Hurdle, as mentioned, and the Mayor's Hurdle. What's Tuesday for you? What's the big one for you? It's the one you can't miss.
Yeah, I mean, I always love the Supreme. It's the first race of the festival, so it's unoriginal, but generally I end up ploughing most of my funds into that, and then the rest of the week is dictated off the back of it. I had a decent record in this up until recently, and it just went arseways. There was a big drift on Shishkin last year, and he ended up winning for Nicky Henderson. He's a short price favourite for the Arkle now. Appreciated is 5-4 for the 5-4 generally for the Supreme now, and is one of those horses that just doesn't capture public imagination whatsoever, because he's not that quick and he hasn't proven this bizarre need to stay or anything. The Supreme's over 2 miles, but it's kind of counterintuitive because, and generally this might change this year. This could be a big differentiator. Normally jockeys are so full of adrenaline that they end up going too quickly on the first mile, and the second mile ends up being a stamina test when it should be a speed test. And that's the inverse then with the Ballymore. But appreciated, very good horse in his own right. Was better at Christmas than he was in February at the Dublin Racing Festival, and there will want to be a consensus that people take him on with, whether that's with the Tolworth winner Metier, whether it's with the Betford Hurdle winner, Soaring Glory from England, we don't know. I like Blue Lord at a price, about 10 to 1. I think he's fifth favourite at the moment. Each way value there's decent. I didn't think he was given the best ride at Leopardstown in February. I thought if he was closer to the pace, because he's got good form behind Bob Ollinger, actually, who we'll get to in a while. I think that's a really strong form line. And if he's just running slightly closer to the pace by, I think, Daryl Jacob, then he shouldn't be out of the first three in my book.
Fairly extensive stuff, Colm.
On the form book, Donn Appreciated should win this race on what he's done in Ireland till now. But at 11 to 10 even money, you know, he's not a price really for most punters, especially small punters. So I would oppose him with an each way selection. Ballyadam finished behind Appreciated earlier in the season, but I think, you know, you're going to see a truly run race tomorrow. The emphasis is on jumping. They go like the clappers in the Supreme. You cannot afford to miss a flight, and I think, you know, he's an each way price. Ballyadam Appreciated should win the race on the book, but Ballyadam could run into a place, and you never know. He might stay on past him up the hill.
Just while I have your Colm on that, the going good to soft, or they're worried that if they don't get rain because it's windy at the moment, they might have to water the track later on in the week. So in this first race, as you say, they go off like the clappers. It's a fast race. Then that probably favourites the favourites, does it? The harder ground.
Not necessarily. I think I read this morning that they had about 10 mils of overnight rain in Cheltenham, which wasn't forecast last night. So that's given a bit of cut, a bit of ease, which they hadn't forecast. As you said, the forecast was for a drier weekend, and then the ground would be that bit quicker. But that 10 mils will be welcome. The going will start on on soft. There'll be soft definitely in the description tomorrow. I think it'll dry out through the week, and I think it's to be relatively dry. But you know, you're talking about seasoned jockeys here who are great judges of pace. So, you know, a few of them may get caught out with going too fast, but most of them will bide their time. But, you know, horses who run in Ireland in these novice hurdles, they run on slow pace throughout the winter on very heavy ground, and it becomes a sprint from the second last. These races, the championship races, even for novices, going to be run at a good gallop, probably go half a stride quicker than they would have been going in Ireland. But a lot of Irish horses, maybe who, you know, haven't particularly liked soft ground or heavy ground through the winter, will enjoy, you know, that quicker ground that Cheltenham will bring. So, you know, you will see in races where horses will overturn. Horses have been running maybe second or third in races to Irish hot pots will overturn that form, and a lot of that will come down to the fact that the ground this week in Presbyterian Park will be that little bit quicker than it has been through what's been a pretty wet Irish winter.
Very interesting insight. Onto the Arkle, Andrew.
Yeah, Shishkin, it's a good thing. I thought it was probably the performance of the festival last year, bar maybe Goshen and before the last hurdle in the Triumph. But for Shishkin to go and win the Supreme last year like he did, I think he was impeded by a faller. He was well back off the pace, and he stayed on past Abacadabras to win a short head. He's gone on again in novice chases, and I think a lot of people are keen to say, well, he hasn't beaten much in England, and there's this back and forth about Willie Mullins getting freebies, whether they exist in England, they exist in Ireland. Shishkin's just a brilliant horse. It would have been a way better Arkle and was being tipped up as the race of the festival. But Energumene is obviously taken out by Willie Mullins. So we've got All Mankind, who's now probably second in the betting, goes off like a lunatic in front. And there's an interesting point on that as well, because I think most people see Cheltenham when they think, oh, Cheltenham is a race course, but it has two tracks on it, or two courses even, the old course and the new course. So the Tuesday, Wednesday are on the old course, and the Thursday, Friday are on the new course, and they run a bit differently. So front runners generally prefer the old course, which is the Tuesday and the Wednesday. So you often see a front runner in the Arkle go on to win it because it's harder to track back. That's generally for hurdles more so than fences, but it's relatable over both. And look, All Mankind's going to set a mad pace, but I just think Shishkin is the best horse in the race by a distance. I think he could be a serious contention for a Queen Mother for a couple of years after this, and he's a short enough price. But I think it's a race I don't want to have a bet in. I just want to watch him.
Colm, anything to throw you off the scent of Shishkin here?
No, I don't think so, Donn. I don't think so. Energumene would have been my fancy up until being taken out a couple of days ago. So I think Shishkin should win, and I think it's a race for punters, as as Andrew alluded to there, just sit back and watch it and enjoy it, and keep your money for maybe some better betting propositions later in the week.
Colm, I'll stick with you. We'll keep our money in our pocket, so I'm going to spend it on the Champion Hurdle. What am I looking at?
To me, this is one of the races of the entire week, if not the race of the entire week. I think it's fascinating. Honeysuckle for Henry de Bromhead, and he 10 from 10. She's been absolutely fantastic. Thought she was hugely impressive the last day at Leopardstown in the hands of Rachel Blackmore, who's a terrific jockey. Short price perhaps, but you know, to me she looks good enough to win the Champion Hurdle. I suppose at a price around 2-1, probably not everybody's idea of a good price. So if you fancy something to chase, Honeysuckle home, maybe Abracadabras could be one that could do it at a decent price. But looks a really good renewal at the Champion Hurdle. I think very, very exciting. Goshen as well, Epatante. I mean, it's a cracking prospect. And again, you know, emphasis is going to be on jumping at speed and then staying on up the hill. You know, what just a pity, as I said earlier, there won't be a crowd, there won't be a packed stand to roar them home.
Be magic if Abracadabra won. Andrew?
Can I leave the call after that?
I have to keep myself entertained here, lads.
Oh, God. Epatante, I think the focus is on the front three because I think it's between the three of them to win it. Whatever about placing him behind, and I agree with Colm. I think Abracadabras is probably the way I'd bet this to finish in the front three. But in terms of who's going to win it, Epatante, after the fight in fifth in Newcastle, I thought she was a good thing. I thought she'd be odds on for this race because, I mean, she's retained it. And let's not forget the £7 mare allowance. So Goshen will have to find £7 off equal weights anyway. But Honeysuckle is the most adaptable of the horses. She's form over 2.5, form over 2. So it should be very hard to beat. But Goshen is the horse that I think would be the best story for all of this. Taking my JP tinted glasses off me, like Goshen is the one that I look at and say, for the Moors soft ground horse, last year would have won the Triumph by going about half the track. Was an unbelievable performer, and was woeful this campaign up until the last. He won the Kingmaker in Canton over Song for Someone really, really convincingly. People tried to rip the race apart, but Tom Simmons said it was fairly run. So if that's the case, then he might actually find the £7. I'd love to see him win it, but I think Abracadabras is probably the bet I would rather take because he travels the strongest and should be run to finish third.
If I still have some money in my pocket left, so come on Tuesday, Mayor's Hurdle.
Yeah, Concertista is the favourite, and rightly so. She's been really good. But again, you know, and we're going to see this throughout the week. There's some really sharp price favourites, you know. And if history teaches anything about Cheltenham, you know, it's all these hot pots won't win. You know, you'll have lots and lots of punters who are doing doubles and trebles and Irish hot pots through the week. And you'll meet somebody and they'll say, oh, I got 2 legs up, but the last one let me down, or I got 3 up and the last one let me down, you know. That will happen. Concertista on form should win in terms of strictly on the book, but I like Roxana here. I think at a price could give her lots to do. You know, but you know, it's another very, very exciting prospect, this Mayor's Hurdle.
Andrew?
I think Concertista is the worst price fab at a meeting. I don't understand it. I look, come here. The price is based on potential because she can go on to be like so many of Willie's mares that have gone on to be really good horses. Your Limonies, your Let's Dances, your Benny Dido, like she could be. But as of right now, I think her best form was actually over 2. She's gone on to beat Manila Melody twice over 2.5, which is what the mares race has run over. Roxana is an out-and-out stayer, like Colm said. I think Roxana is a better pick even for me than Concertista is in this race. But I just think over 2.5 miles, Roxana was entered in the stayers up until recently, so she'd probably show her best over 3. So she's going to be at the front of this pace trying to set it. And I think the horse actually in this betting that wants the 2.5 miles more than anyone is actually last year's call winner, Donn the Company. I think she could go on while there's a pace being set relentlessly by Roxana to try and beat Concertista. Then the Company's last year call, I think she won off in around 140 last year. She's probably rated 148, 150, which should be good enough to win this in theory. And while someone is trying to run a 2-mile race and someone's trying to run a 3-mile race, the proper 2.5 miler in here, I think can actually sneak it for JP. So, and I think she's the outsider of the 3 at about 6-1. So I'd rather have my money there especially because she's an each way price too. So
All right, wrap up Tuesday. Colm in one word. Give me a nap of the day.
On Tuesday,
Yeah.
Shishkin. Not original, but
Yeah, that's fine.
think should win the Arkle, yeah.
Andrew, one word.
I mean, it's 2 words. The horse is 2 words. Can I have that?
That's fine, yeah.
Grand.
I'll allow.
I'll take Blue Lord each way in the Supreme.
Blue Lord each way in the Supreme. Right, much like Cheltenham itself, we've started off at a nice enough pace on Tuesday. We need to speed it up now because we need to get through Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So let's try and get up the hill on Friday. Let's Wednesday, Colm start us off. Ballymore Novices Hurdle.
Yeah, I'm a big Bob Allinger fan here. Very taken with him in Naas the last time he won. I think in terms of the conditions will be in his favour. 2-1 is a sharp price, but we'll take a 2-1 winner if he obliges, and I think he just might.
Slow and steady wins the race here, lads, with some of these prices. Where's my 33-1 that I can talk about for 10 years? Come on, Andrew.
We get there. I think Jamie Cotter was doing a preview of this, and he said that Bob Allinger was a God-given certainty. I'm terrified of people saying those things at Cheltenham. I'm absolutely terrified. I was on Braveman's game for 3 months leading up to this, really impressive in the Shallow, and the form line continued itself. And I thought, yeah, he travels really well. But I've made this mistake for years about picking novice hurdlers that I know will go on to be really good novice chasers, and it doesn't win you a novice hurdle, funnily enough. So I'm just gonna not ignore the obvious Irish trends coming in this. And everyone seems to think Rachel Blackmore said Bob Allinger was an incredible horse. She got a feel off him like she got nothing else that she'd said on in ages. And I feel like if Bob Allinger goes on to win the Ballymore, everyone's going to say, well, wasn't it obvious? And I'm just, for that reason, I'm with Colm, and I just can't stay away from him. I think he'll win the Ballymore.
Can I clarify for those non-horsey people? Are we talking, what's the name of the horse? Bob Allinger?
Yeah.
That's it, yeah.
Not like Bollinger, drinky, like Bob
No.
Allinger.
No.
Oh, okay. Well, listen, whatever has yourself.
You get some price in the bookies looking for that.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Won't be the first time drinking champagne in Cheltenham, I'd say. Let's Brown Advisory Novice Chase, Colm.
Well, Daniel, give it out to you, picking favourites and odds on shots, and
yeah,
I'm afraid I'm going to disappoint you yet again here.
Jesus.
Monkfish.
Oh, yeah, I heard about him.
Yeah, Monkfish. I don't think this race is not one for a punter. It's one to sit back and watch. This race famously, I seem to remember Champ there 12 months ago. Good. I'm looking forward to Andrew Cunneen's take on Champ later on. But,
social media, he doesn't rate him. So Monkfish on Wednesday in the Novice Chase.
Yeah, the old RSA. Yeah. I mean, he's been terrific. He's been absolutely terrific in Ireland throughout the winter. He jumps for fun. He stays. He's high cruising speed. He's got absolutely everything. It'll be a big surprise, Donn, if he doesn't win. And they'll, as I mentioned earlier, he'll be the banker in lots of doubles and trebles for Irish punters, and there mightn't be anybody at the track, but you'll hear collective groans across the country here on Wednesday if Monkfish doesn't oblige.
Okay, Andrew.
Yeah, I like that the ownership have gone and they've put Royal Pagoi in the Gold Cup, haven't they, Colm? And
yeah, that's right.
To me, they put the wrong one in the Gold Cup. I think if Monkfish went to the Gold Cup, he'd go off 3-1 favourites. This is as good a novice chaser as I've seen, and I'm including him Violin, who we'll get onto in that. I just think he's bomb-proof. There's nothing he doesn't do really, really well. Won the Albert Bartlett last year after he was headed, came back. He's resilient. He's as fluid a jumper as you could possibly want. And the key thing is there's nothing in behind him, is there, Colm? Like, it's such a short field.
No.
There's nothing getting near. He is, and I agree with Colm, the absolute certainty of the week. Like.
All right, stay with you, Andrew. Queen Mother. Speaking to people that need some good PR.
I can't believe you said that. I am very keen to take on the Fav in this. You'll be delighted to hear. I don't want to back the Fav in this. Chacun Poursois. Willie Mullins has famously never won this race, and this is not Chacun Poursois. Yeah. No, I don't want this. Very sensitive sort. Stepped on a stone before this race last year, and they pulled him out of it. People seem to think that he's going to improve again for his runs this year, and if he improved again in his runs this year, he'd be impossible to beat. But he's 9, and just because he's lightly raced doesn't mean he's young. This is a bit of a a weird narrative that people are pulling out. He's a 9-year-old. He's not going to be winning champion chase after champion chase, even if he wins it this year. Altior was pulled out of the race, which was sad to see because he's such a legend in the game. But I like Nube Negra and First Flow in behind, to be honest, if someone's going to take advantage. And I just don't want the short price of Outshak and Boursois in this. So if you had to push me for it, I think the Desert Orchid performance where he beat Altior was really, really strong. So I'd be with the Spanish bred horse, Nube Negra, which I think would be a lovely story for the week.
Colm, Queen Mother.
I'd be like Andrew, looking for a bit of value. I think Put the Kettle On would be one I like.
That's fully intended. Oh, sorry, that's the horse. Sorry, yeah. Okay.
That's the name of the horse. That course and distance, and
we've got the champagne, the cups of tea. This is terrible.
An Arkle winner from the Arkle winner from last year, and you know, you might have to forgive a couple of most recent runs in Ireland, but seems to come alive at Cheltenham. So, you know, again, as we keep saying, punters won't be happy to take sharp prices. Not many of them. They won't all win, and Put the Kettle On, hopefully give you a good run for your money each way. And you know, the Queen Mother Champion Chase, it's 2 miles, it's flat out, it's huge emphasis on jumping, and it's always a spectacular race. So you know, I think Put the Kettle On each way, you might bring a dividend for you.
The mayor's allowance doesn't hurt either, Colm, does it?
That's true. That's a good point, Andrew. Yeah. All
right, nap of the day for Wednesday, Andrew. One word.
Are we not doing a champion bumper?
No, we're not doing the champion bumper because we've 10 minutes left here and we need to roll on to Thursday and Friday and keeping you ticking over here. I'm like the jockey here. I'm just making sure we get up the hill on Friday. The mind of champion bumper. Bumpers are for cars. Nap of the day for Wednesday.
2 things in the world grown men should never do is think they should start their own podcast and they shouldn't back the anti-post favourite for the champion bumper. But let's move on if we're skipping it. The nap of the day for the Tuesday.
Wednesday. You're going way back now.
Wednesday. It was actually my champion bumper selection that we.
Yeah, go on. Who's that? So shout.
3 Stripe Life at 8-1 in the champion bumper.
3 Stripe Life. That's because you like Adidas runners. Colm.
Correct. Yeah.
Monkfish.
Don't sit next to you.
We got the 1 to 2 and the 8 to 11.
Double them up.
Right, we're coming up on the rails now because we have 9 minutes to go. Thursday, let's do 1 race each. Colm, start me off with the Marshes Novices Chase.
NYLN. Odds on, not original, but you know, owned by Tivoli Park.
Okay.
And
DALLAN, isn't it, for those people that be searching on Paddy or whatever?
NYLN, yeah.
So that's a no-brainer for you.
I think so. I mean, obviously the preparation, you know, it's question marks over the horse's preparation in terms of changing yard and that, but you know, on what we've seen, assuming it's preparation, you got to think most of its big work in the gallops was done prior to the change in trainer, but yeah, for me, he looks a good thing.
Okay, Ryanair Chase, Andrew.
You could have given Colm this because the market leader is 6-1. You couldn't have tipped the fab. I think it's actually a very good race, a really strong renewal, and I'm not going to delay on this because it's not a race everyone wants to spend time on. But I think Min at 6-1 is a bet to nothing. I don't understand why he's not shorter, but there you go.
6-1 Min.
Mm-hmm.
That has Cheltenham pedigree, correct? Min won there before.
Yeah.
Why the long odds then?
Because it's really competitive. They really like Allaho and they really like Mellon as well. And Imperial Aura is in there. It's just really, really competitive at the top of the market. But I would rather take the Cheltenham form, and he's like the counterpoint to Mellon. Min seems to pull it out, and he was pulled up the last day, but they pulled him up nice and early, so there wasn't any collateral damage. Whereas Mellon goes to the Cheltenham and performs, but never ever wins. So anyone backing Mellon to win a race is bizarre to me. So I would take him out of calculations. You're left with Allaho, who has a bit to prove, and Imperial Aura, who's a very good horse, but I would rather take the form Whitney from Cheltenham and back him in.
Okay, if we've still got money left, Colm, Paddy Power Stairs Hurdle.
Yeah, tough race. I look for each way value here. I know you're slagging me off there over tipping favourites all day, Dan. So I'll give you an outsider here. I think Fury Road, last seen in the Boyne Hurdle, around 12-1.
Nice.
Second last time in Navan, I think around 12-1. Few quid each way. Fury Road.
There goes your nap of the day, Colm. Just not a bit of crack with that. Few quid.
My nap of the day would have to be, well, you could say MVLN, I suppose, but that'd be too obvious, maybe. A horse I like in the Ryanair is Fakir Duderi. So a few quid each way, maybe on Fakir Duderi in the Ryanair. But as Andrew mentioned, it is hugely competitive. I think 5-1 to field. So yeah, fascinating betting heat, and it's going to be a fascinating renewal.
Andrew, nap of the day for Thursday.
Imperial Alcazar in the Pertemps, 5-1, 6-1. Nap of the day, nap of the festival. Has a stone in hand and a handicapper.
Okay, on to Friday. Now we're coming flying up the hill here. Now this is serious high-pitched commentary voice at the moment. So let's rattle through it. Don't worry, I will give the two of you a chance to talk about the Gold Cup and your naps of the day. But just to rattle this out, Colm, start me off the Triumph Hurdle Friday.
It's a race I don't like. I find it extremely hard to pick the winner. Juvenile hurdlers, you know, if I had to go for one, maybe Quilixius of Henry de Bromhead around 4-1. But
easy for you to say.
I find it could be very easy on Friday, Dan.
So that horse, I can't remember the name after. Yeah, sounds like a Greek tragedy. Go with that on Friday morning. Andrew, the Albert Bartlett.
I hate this race.
He hated the last one. You hate this one. Are you not racing fans? Come on.
Friday. I prefer the Triumph. Give me the Triumph over the Albert. You should have swapped us.
The Albert Bartlett is the Friday night Pro 14 game that we all want to go to. That's what it is.
Anyone that has an opinion on the Albert Bartlett is strange to me. It's the one race where you can 100% go out and have a cup of tea before the Gold Cup. You get set, see champ finish second last, and just enjoy your afternoon. Do you know what I mean? Just don't be punting on the Albert Bartlett. This is the responsible gambling part of the podcast where I say you don't have to have a bet in every race. Do not watch the Albert Bartlett.
Do not watch it. Brilliant. Right, Colm, lead us off. Gold Cup, talk to me. It's the big one.
Yeah, it's the big one. I suppose a lot of the focus leading up to it, Don, has been on the fact that Album Photo is going for a third Gold Cup in a row. Yet a lot more focus is on a lot more runners in other races, and that maybe he hasn't gotten the the credit he deserves. I suppose he's been very lightly raced, and maybe hasn't captured the imagination of punters and the sporting public, I suppose, over the last couple of years. But you can't take away from horses won back-to-back Gold Cups. Can he do 3 in a row? I don't know. Best Mate was the last horse to do it. Personally, I think he probably not. And my tip for the race is A Plus Tard, who I was very impressed with winning the Savills at Leopardstown last time out when he beat Kemboy, and I think A Plus Tard can spoil Album Photo's bid for a third Cheltenham Gold Cup. And I'm absolutely fascinated to hear what Andrew has to say about Champ. 12 months on.
I'm fascinated to hear about Album Photo. You mentioned earlier, Andrew, that people hadn't put horses into the Gold Cup. Is this why? Is this a race that can't be won? It's
very competitive. I like the renewal, but I don't know. I think Roy Pagoi is the highest rated novice in Ireland of written. I think he's already at 167 or something, which is mad. And like, if your choices are the Gold Cup or the 4 miler, it's just such a strange decision for someone to have to make for a novice chaser. But the Gold Cup, it's a very good field top to bottom, and then there's Champ and Fair Play. Like I don't understand. You go and you have a 2 mile prep for him, and obviously look, Henderson was running out of options for him. He was ridiculously impressive in the RSA last year, Colm pointed out, because the 2 went off in front. He was about 15 lengths behind them. He jumped the last and he flew home. But I just don't know. I think the preparation was unusual. He went to the game spirited over 2 miles, and his jumping was really good. But Champ isn't what we call the smartest horse on the planet. He doesn't really know how to conserve his energy over fences. You need to kind of just have him wing it, and I just think the extra 2 furlongs for him might actually catch him out, because I don't believe he'll jump all the fences safely. One thing I'd like to make a point about this Gold Cup is everyone hates Santini, the horse, right? Because he's just an absolute slow as a boat type, and he's really slow, but he's an out and out stayer, and there's so much pace at the front of this Gold Cup, right? So much pace, and he needs a strong pace because he's a stayer. If it's slowly run, he hasn't hope. Last year was very slowly run in the early part of the race, and Santini lost half a length to Album Photo. This year, when I think he needs headgear to refocus him. They've put a visor on him, and half a length to now the horse going for 3 in a row. That's 3-1 at the top of the market, and you're going to have a mad pace. He's 16-1. I can't understand the pricing of it. I
Now
would rather
we're
back
talking.
Santini each way at that price. It's not my nap of the day or anything like that. But if you're going off and you're saying that he can't get close again after last year with headgear now that I think he needed last year, I think it's great price.
Okay, so we've got our clip in case Champ wins the Gold Cup, which is great. So you writing them off. We've got less than 2 minutes to go here, so let's wrap this. Give me your nap of the day, Colm, for Friday.
It's not necessarily an app, but it's a horse I would take a keen interest in on Friday. Horse called Staker Wallace. I was fortunate to be enough to be at Limerick over Christmas. Staker Wallace, obviously strong Limerick connections, owned by JP McManus, named after GA Club, trained by Enda Bulger in Brewery. About an 11-12 to 1 shot in the Fox Hunters, which is the race after the Gold Cup on Friday. So, again, nice price for each way punters. Enda Bulger is a terrific record in the Fox Hunters over the years, both as jockey and the trainer. So, hopefully you get a good run for your money if you have a few quid each way on Staker Wallace.
Andrew, nap of the day for Friday.
No amateurs in the Fox Hunters either, Colm, so it'll be weird this year. But, I would say nap of the day is Zanny here to win the Triumph Hurdle.
Zanny, right. That's all the races as a whole, I suppose, covered off. Last couple of pointers. I only know two owners going over there this weekend. One is JP McManus, as you mentioned, Colm and Staker Wallace. The other one obviously is Malcolm Denmark, who has ties to this organisation. So fingers crossed for the two of them. Do you know, years ago, people used to go, I'll just back Ruby Walsh, or I'll just back this, or I'll just back that. Give me a quick trend, Colm. Like if I was to back JP, would I be doing well for the week?
Well, I mean, he's got Epatante in the Champion Hurdle, who's one of the favourites. Obviously got Champ, who we've discussed earlier on in the Gold Cup.
Come on, Champ. I've never wanted a horse to win a race so much in my life. Come on, Champ.
He's got a strong team of horses, I suppose. These are the two that are most prominent. But he'll have lots of runners and handicaps. He's a fantastic record around Cheltenham, so he loves having winners there. I'm sure he'll find it strange not being there this year, given he's obviously been a regular attender for decades. So it'll be fascinating to see how everyone is saying it's going to be an Irish benefit. Irish trained horse is going to dominate. It'll be fascinating to see how many winners Ireland comes home with. You would obviously expect that there'll be more Irish trained winners than English trained winners. That looks pretty much a given, but by how many is the big question. And it'll be fascinating to see. Rachel Blackmore is a terrific Irish lady jockey who has a fantastic book of rides. So people will wish her well, and I'm sure she'll be. She has some fantastic rides, and she could capture some of the big championship races.
Andrew, what do I need to back? What kind of trend do I need to back across the week? You've got 30 seconds.
What trend do you need to back? The horses I just told you to back.
All of them. So no running team like a back in the JP, back in the spread on England versus Ireland.
JP actually has the favourite in the Mayor's Chase on the Friday. If you're in a bad way after the Gold Cup, he's got Ellie May to win the Mayor's Chase, who I think she's a touch of 2 to 1. I'd love that as a get out for you.
Okay, well listen, what about that for a finish? My thanks to Colm Kinsella, to Andrew Cunneen. I think I've written down. Here I go. Look at that for a flick. I've written down everything. So I think we've backed every single horse at Cheltenham for 2021, and if you don't win, don't blame us. And as Andrew correctly said earlier, gamble responsibly, and fingers crossed for a couple of Limerick related winners, and keep an eye out on limerickleader.ie throughout the rest of the festival for those results. My thanks again, gents, and we'll talk to you next time.